Hey everybody, One of Wisdom here. It is Monday, June 26th, almost dead on 11 p.m. Those of you that have seen it, I've actually uploaded now the legendary mass upgrades and gameplay. Basically leaves me just like a couple of simple things. I've got an extra igniter. I went down secondary path, may take him down as primary. Same thing with Cinder, a couple others I have duplicates of. Probably do it with Warnado, one of my favorite characters. Just kind of see what the other upgrades path look like, and since I have two, then I can kind of compare and contrast them in gameplay videos for you. That'll help you out, if you've picked a path and wondered, or, best case scenario, you just hadn't gotten to the point of upgrading yet, then you can kind of preview things and go from there. That said, I've kept telling people for quite a time, basically since right before I beat Chaos, that I did have something else planned. And wasn't quite sure how it would go, and needless to say, now we're going to find out. It's pretty well impossible for me to get everything in the frame here, but what you are looking at essentially is all 32 Skylanders, and they are arranged like they are for a very good reason. Basically, what I'm going to try to do is set up a, basically fan vote tournament. The order that they are arranged in is not, like I said, just out of the blue. This is actually based from the blog poll. A while back I had actually, I'd done it by elements for a while, and then once everything came out, and I felt like most people that were reading along, had gotten Whamshell, or, basically had a good idea of what he would be like, I went ahead and asked, who is your favorite Skylander? And the way it panned out, Warnado came in first place. That happens to be why he's up at the top. Your least favorite Skylander was Boomer. If you note, he is actually facing off against Warnado. Reason for that is what I've decided to do is basically set up a tournament. As you know, really kind of a downer that there isn't a single player option for battle mode. If there was, I would actually record all of this in gameplay mode, basically with me controlling whoever was voted higher by you, and then kind of see how it pans out and kind of a tournament bracket setup. But since I can't do that, and it would be really hard for me to get all this set up to record this much with a friend, what I've done is actually set up a bracket. Kind of crude. The good thing is I write small, so I can fit everything on one page. But it's basically structured according to your votes. And essentially, we've got 32 base Skylanders. This doesn't apply to the legendaries or variants or anything. But obviously, Warnado is who you voted number 1. Boomer is who you voted 32nd. So they will face off in round 1. It's basically divided up. It's essentially an 8 Skylander bracket, and there's going to be 4 of them. So I've got one here, and then on the opposite side, you can see it's Camo facing off against Whirlwind. And then down here, your third, bracket of 8 Skylanders begins with Whamshell versus Dino Ring. And then our final bracket, is for the number 4 seed, Sunburn, facing off against Eruptor. And basically, the way I set it up, it's, easiest for the number 1 seed to make it all the way to the top. And the reason for that is, he'll be going up against, the winner of 16 and 17. Whereas 2 will face off against 15 and 18, 3, 14 and 19. And as you should have guessed, the number 4 seed will have the toughest time, in theory, based on your votes, going up against the winner of 13 and 20. Also, the 4 bracket has the 5 seed, the 3 bracket has a 6 seed, the 2 bracket has a 7 seed, and then the 1 bracket has the 8 seed. So again, that gives you the overall feel for the bracket. Again, the number 1 seed should have the easiest time, followed by 2, then 3, then 4. So assuming everyone votes and your feelings haven't changed, it should pan out. That said, I think this will be pretty interesting. This is really the best way I could come up to do it again, primarily because there's not a single player for battle mode. Really wish there was, but what I plan to do And again, you know, I'd love to do this from the YouTube comments, but that would literally be a daunting task that I would not have time for. So what it's going to be set up as, when you go to the blog, oneofwisdom.blogspot.com, we are actually going to have a poll set up. You know, it'll have, basically it'll begin Warnado versus Boomer, and you're just going to vote for who you think would win. Assuming you stick with your guns, you know, maybe we'll pick up new readers that, you know, love Boomer more or something. But just vote for your favorite Skylander or who you think you would win. Those two usually correlate, you know. And then I'll probably leave it open. I'm thinking I'll have it set for 2 weeks initially. And, you know, if we don't get any feedback, I'll just kind of wrap it up quick. You know, maybe do subsequent rounds a week or something. But if we happen to get a lot of feedback, if you tell your friends, etc., you know, I may extend it for a little while. But, you know, once I set a time frame, you know, I'll probably stick for that for subsequent rounds. So when you go to the blog, oneofwisdom.blogspot.com, you'll see this. This will be right below the Twitter feed, which will be on the right-hand side of the blog. And you can basically just come in. I'll have, obviously, this time there's going to be, you know, the 4 matchups here, 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 and here. So 16 polls, you know, essentially dividing the field by 2. And it'll be fewer and fewer each time until, you know, we finally get our champion. But again, I'm not quite sure how people feel about this. I personally think it's kind of neat, and don't know if anyone else is doing it. And like I said, there's just really no good way for me to do it. That said, we'll go ahead and take a look at the matchups here. Obviously, our number 1 seed is going to be Warnado. He will be facing off against number 32, Boomer. Again, all this was based off of your votes on the poll. Then we've got the winner of that will face the winner of the 16 versus 17 matchup, which is Slam Bam and Chop Chop. We will follow that up with, you know, Spyro, number 8 versus number 25, Zap. My apologies about reaching. It's actually a really long ways, you know. And the camera's not off. I'm just really, really sunburned. But apparently SPF 30 doesn't cut it. Just a side note there. The winner of Spyro and Zap will face off against the winner of 12 versus 21, Terrafin and Wrecking Ball. Basically, the way I've got this set up, the outside row is actually going to be the you know, home team, if you will, or the higher ranked character, and then the one facing in is actually the one that's the lower ranked Skylander. That basically wraps up the number 1 bracket. Our number 4 bracket begins Fire Element Showdown. We have Sunburn versus Eruptor. Interestingly, again, we have Magic Showdown with Voodooed and Double Trouble. Double Trouble being 13th and Voodooed being 20. And again, you can kind of see Double Trouble's eyes look to be following you. Next up, again, the 4 seed will have the toughest time advancing in theory. Mainly because number 5 is here, which is Igniter. He will be going up against Stump Smash, who is seeded 28th. This is a great time to have Slash and Burn for a you know, slogan. And then our final matchup in the number 4 bracket features number 9 Stealth Elf versus number 24 Drobot. Pretty good matchup there. You know, 2 kind of old school staple characters. So again, that was our number 1, and then our number 4, you know, brackets, if you will, going by their top seeded Skylander. And now we are ready to take a look at the other side of the bracket. To begin, we've got number 2 Camo versus number 31 Whirlwind. And again, bear with me here, it's a really long reach for these. Next up, we have got number 15, Prism Break, versus number 18, Sonic Boom. Should be interesting. Our second tier matchups in the number 2 bracket actually pits number 7 Cinder in an undead showdown with number 26 Hex. Kind of be interesting to see how the ladies of the undead element do against one another. And then our final in the number 2 bracket is going to pit number 11 Flameslinger against number 22 Ghost Roaster. Should be an interesting matchup. Now we are ready for our number 3 bracket, which I'll try to kind of get them all in here for you. It begins, of course, your number 3 favorite Skylander according to the poll, which was Wham Show. He will be facing off against number 30 Dino Ring. Next up we have got Bash, who is number 14, and he will be going up against number 19 Zook. This should be a pretty interesting one. And then we have Lightning Rod, who was your number 6 seed. He will be going up against Gilgrunt, who is seeded 27th. And our final matchup is a tech showdown between the 10 seed Trigger Happy and the number 23 seed Drill Sergeant. So we got a couple of elemental showdowns already in round 1. And that is basically it. That's the bracket. Again, I'm going to initially stick with about 2 weeks or so. Just kind of see how that goes. You know, like I said, this could bomb or it could be, you know, better than I'm hoping. I don't really know until we do it. Kind of kept it low key. I just wanted to, you know, get everything done and then step into this. Working on a couple other Skylander related things to finish it out. But basically, again, these are round 1 matchups. Didn't just randomly come up with this. This is actually based on the poll results for who is your favorite Skylander. Again, thanks to everyone who voted, and as you can see, when you vote, from time to time, there will be something cool like this that'll come from it. Basically, like I said, I've got it mapped out right here. Painfully small handwriting for most people, just how I've always done it. But 2 weeks, I'm thinking, is the time frame. So, you know, at the end of week, you know, 2 weeks from now, basically, you know, say Warnado has 150 votes and Boomer has 17, and then say Slam Bam has 150 votes and Chop Chop has 14, you will basically then see the number 1 seed Warnado advance to face the number 16 seed Slam Bam. And then again, you know, assuming it pans out like that, you'd have, you know, 100 votes for Warnado, 50 votes for Slam Bam, and then they will come on here, and then basically, you know, we have our showdown between the 2 winners. So I think that pretty well covers the bracket, sort of how I laid it out. Again, Warnado, in theory, should have the easiest time getting to the finals. We should have some pretty interesting matchups from time to time. I already have a couple on the table that, you know, I think might be pretty close the way it fell out. But I think this will be pretty neat. You know, hopefully other people do too. Main thing is go to the blog and vote. I'm hoping we have, you know, very good, you know, showing, you know, in terms of people voting on this one. The more the better, you know, that way, you know, say people have played Warnado and Boomer now, maybe they prefer Boomer, and we have an upset where 32 takes down number 1. Probably won't really see much of that until later on, you know, until like the mid packs, or maybe there's just like a really bad matchup somewhere. But I'm interested to see how it goes. You know, like I said, if we don't get many people, you know, I may shorten the time frame on it. And, you know, if we happen to sort of exceeds my expectations, you know, I'll go ahead, maybe extend the time frame, stick to the same one once it's consensus. And if this is really popular, I may come back and just randomly set brackets, or I could do it based on the results of this tournament. And we'll just kind of go from there. I think it'll be fun. Hopefully everybody will like it. It's a great game. Giants is coming out soon. There's still a ton of people getting into it, and there's still a lot of people that have been into it for a long time that have yet to find Wham Shell. I've also here lately had a lot of people tell me they can't find camo, basically when those single packs came out. So there's still some diehards, haven't gotten all 32. Every day there's going to be more and more people getting into the game. But little stuff like this will get those of us that have completed the game, have our favorites picked out, a little pastime till giants. And like I said, this is the best way I knew to do it. It is based entirely upon the poll results that you voted in. Again, that's why I encourage you to vote. You might see something like this from time to time in other scenarios. But go to the poll. It'll be on the right-hand side, right below the Twitter feed. And be sure to scroll all the way down. You'll have Ornado Boomer up here. And then your last battle in this, particular instance will be the 16th poll for this. It'll be 10 Trigger Happy, 23 Drill Sergeant. So make sure you go all the way down, vote for your favorite Skylander, who you think would win. Generally, that's going to be the same thing. And like I said, we'll go from there. I'm looking forward to seeing, what people think of this. Feel free to leave comments here. Again, to vote, go to the blog, oneofwisdom.blogspot.com. You'll find this series of 16 polls right below the Twitter feed on the right-hand side of the blog. Be sure, you'll see the Vornado one first, and scroll all the way down to Trigger Happy Drill Sergeant. That way you can vote for everybody. Tell your friends, vote for your favorite characters. We'll try to make this as interesting as we can. You can follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook, whichever you prefer. I will try to keep reminding people, post updates on Twitter, maybe occasionally to the Facebook page, etc. But feel free to tell me what you think of this, on the YouTube video in the comments, or, even better, if you post on the blog. But main thing is vote for your favorites. And like I said, if this goes over well, hopefully we'll kind of continue this. And if not, I'm sure there will be a few people interested in it. We'll try to make it as enjoyable as possible. But as always, thanks for watching, and we will catch you back for the second round of the tournament.